How do you stay motivated and avoid burnout? Welcome back to After Hour Happy Hour. We are your chaotic but cathartic co-hosts. I'm Sharon.
I'm Vicky.
I'm Jamola.
And today we're going to be talking all about the topic of burnout, what it is, have we ever dealt with it, how to stay motivated, what pushes us to stay motivated, etc. And hopefully we can share some insight in any way.
So guys, what is motivation to you? I feel like to me, motivation is random spurts of energy, almost like, oh my god, I want to start this. Oh my god, I want to continue this. So for example, let's just say you're starting workout. Oh, I'm so motivated to start. But then the second part to it is, how do you use that motivation to continue your journey? And I think that's where discipline comes in. So to me, motivation is spurts of energy, but to continue is like using your discipline.
Oh, I think I mix discipline and motivation in together. Because I'm like, if you're motivated to do something, then you're doing it. Versus if maybe for you, it's like you're motivated and then you do it. But for me, if you feel motivated, then you're doing something with that motivation.
That's if you're doing something with it, though. I feel like you could be motivated and not do anything with it.
That's true.
So then you have to be disciplined to do it. I would also define motivation as something that pushes you, whether it is a spurt of energy that you get or it's like a ongoing, consistent energy that you've had, but it's something that it pushes you.
Oh, so how do we stay motivated? How do you
Mark
stay?
Twain.
You know, that's like genuinely an answer, because there's so many times where she's like, if I ever meet him, I need to look good. If I ever meet him, I need to be successful. So I'm going to do it.
Oh, hey, I'm telling you, this is my thought process, okay? Well, for one thing, like, I would like to look my best if I ever meet the man, because man is perfect.
Like, actually, that's your sole motivation?
Not my sole motivation, but, it helps that it adds it on. And I know we're not the only ones speaking here, like you guys feel the same, but yeah, just not verbal about it.
I don't know about Sharon, but speaking for myself, I don't think I'm on your extreme of like, I'm going to meet this person and I have to look this good. Like, I'm doing it on the off chance, sure, but in reality, I feel like yours is way more feasible than mine.
Yeah, it's because the man's from America, bro. Like,
yeah, so what motivates you, Sharon?
Okay, honestly, I feel like a lot of people may be able to relate, but the last couple months, motivation is at an all-time low. I don't know if it's because of COVID. I've been home for so long. Right now, what's motivating me is I'm moving to Seattle soon, where I'll be living by myself, which is what I've been wanting to do for a long time. And because of that stepping stone, I'm also telling myself that's when I start my own YouTube channel or whatever content it is that I want to create. So right now, that is my source of motivation that I haven't felt in a while.
Wait, I have a serious answer. Can I say that?
Mark
Sure.
wasn't serious?
Actually, no, I have a what people deem as more serious answer.
Okay.
I think my motivation also comes from goals. I'm a very goal-oriented person, I feel like.
Yeah, I was going to say goals. Either goals or money, either of those. I feel like money is a very solid reason, just because it might sound super materialistic, but if we're being honest, money gets you far in life, and homegirl got bills to pay. So the idea of like making more money and being stable, and then eventually that leading to goals that I want to do, like the funner things in life that I want to do that requires money, that is what drives me to do and hustle. Like all these goals of like living by ourselves and having a cute apartment, that requires money. No, I hate when people are like, if you truly think about it, money can't buy happiness. And I'm like, you're rich. Like, it can. I guess we could talk a little about how you change motivation into a discipline.
So earlier I mentioned that the idea of, turn motivation into discipline, or staying disciplined, is the key to success. In addition to that, I read a book called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, which I highly, highly recommend. It's a pretty easy read. But basically, one of the things that really resonated with me was you win life because you improve yourself little bit by little bit every day, which is called the slight edge. And I feel like that's what discipline is to me. You do the same thing, for example, working out every day you work out, you're getting stronger, you're getting closer to your goal, you're staying healthy. And yes, motivation started me doing it, but I stayed disciplined by doing the same thing every day. And ultimately, I'm gonna reach my goal. And ultimately, that's what I deem as success. I hope that was a good way to put it.
Yeah, I feel like motivation and discipline goes hand in hand. Like without motivation, you kind of don't get disciplined because what are you working for? You have to figure out what is the end goal for you, and then you learn how to get disciplined to reach that end goal.
Something has to motivate you to become disciplined because somebody who with the strongest mindset and discipline can do something. Like they can put in work, but if you're not inspired by it or it doesn't like motivate you to continue, then you're going to burn out. And I think that's where the difference is. Like you have to kind of figure out what it is that you're passionate about and what motivates you for the long run so that you don't burn out.
That's a really good way to put it. Thanks, Sharon,
You're
for putting my
welcome.
thoughts into words.
For example, I started my fitness journey probably like my sophomore year in college, and it started from like, oh, I want to look good. I want to look a certain way. But that eventually turned into, I do it because I love how it makes me feel and how much stronger I've become through it. And that's what kept me motivated in the long run. I feel like a good way to motivate yourself is through working out, whether that's like a 20-minute walk or a 20-minute butt exercise every single day, because scientifically speaking, working out stimulates your brain. What is it? It releases what? Is it dopamine?
Serotonin?
Something.
Serotonin.
You know how like after you work out, you feel so energized, you feel great like 99.9% of the time? Even if you need to use that as your crutch, and you do that to be motivated to do something else, why not? Like why not use that as a energy booster, you know?
Oh my god, speaking about working out, literally this just happened yesterday. I was feeling super down and like whatever. I was so not motivated to work out at all. I was like, oh, I don't want to work out. Like I just want to be lazy. But then the discipline in me was like, I'm working out because I want to get stronger. It was honestly one of the best workouts I had in a while. It was like super unexpected because I was not in the mood, but I came out of it like super energized, feeling so good.
Honestly, I think that's why I've been in a rut for like the past 2 months because I have not been consistent with working out. So, moral of the story, just move your body. Like literally go on an hour walk. Listen to a podcast.
Listen to our podcast.
Facts.
Yes.
Something that I learned is like the power, not the power, but how important it is for your physical body and your mental body to connect. There's no way you could honestly say to yourself that, oh, my mental health is super healthy, but you don't feel good physically, because those go hand in hand. And that's why working out is emphasized. And then motivation comes from mental health, where it's like your brain is stimulated, your brain feels good, and you want to do more because you feel good.
Dude, can you tell I haven't been motivated in a while? Ever since I started corporate, I just kidding.
Oh,
But
for sure.
she's not kidding. I was gonna say two of the biggest things that used to motivate me were the energy that I would get after reading, like reading books, and two, listening to podcasts. Because if you can't motivate yourself, why not have someone else motivate you? These resources are essentially free. Like you could find any book pretty much online, free or cheap, and same with podcasts. And so stimulate your brain that way, and then you feel like you can conquer the world. And you write journals, you do daily tasks, you achieve your goals, and then it's an ongoing cycle of life.
If anyone's struggling with motivation, this book is about like creativity, but you can totally change the interpretation to like motivation. But it's called Big Magic, and it's by Elizabeth Gilbert. She's the same author who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. Basically, an idea or creativity or motivation is a form of life, and it comes and goes to different people. And if it's not meant for you, it'll go to someone else. Or if you didn't catch the idea or the motivation quick enough, then it'll go to somebody else. It won't just stay in one place and wait for you. And when I was reading this book, I was also in a rut where I was like, I don't feel motivated. I don't have any passion for anything. And I have nothing going on in my life right now. What can I do to do something? And this book kind of shaped it in the form that both you can wait, but also you can't wait too long. An idea will come to you eventually, but you can't just let it slip by because it doesn't wait for anybody. And I think it is a good starter point of, oh, how can I start feeling better about not having motivation?
You know what's one thing that actually really motivates me is if I'm being productive. If let's just say I start off my morning very productive and throughout the day I'm working and I get stuff done, I want to continue that cycle of doing things that help me feel accomplished. If the day I'm not being productive, then I don't feel motivated to do anything.
Clean your space. Maybe that's an underrated one. But I am a space person. If I am in a cluttered space, then I feel like I can't do anything. I don't feel motivated. But cleaning is always the first step to make me feel motivated.
Facts. I can't wait to move into my new apartment and clean.
Actually, you know what makes me get my energy back up? Put on some like really energized songs, like for example Bobby's You Mad, or sometimes some EDM, or some very like happy concert songs like Got7's Page. Like I'm holding my what's this called, electric toothbrush. Oh, I just spat. I just hold my electric toothbrush and I'm just singing I Think I Love You, and I feel so good.
I feel like ultimately just moving your body to do something will pump up your energy more than you think.
Yeah, or if you're an extrovert, talk to friends.
Say maybe just move out of home. Like, if you're living with your parents right now, get out of there. I'm telling you right now, get out of there. Now. Jamila.
That
I'm just kidding.
Well, as we talk about motivation, you know, a lot of things can motivate you, but you know, it's inevitable that you sometimes lead to burnout. So, what is burnout to you guys, and any tips or advice on how you combat burnout, whether it be in work, in personal life? Oh, or have you ever burnt out?
Oh, 100%. Actually, have you guys been burnt out?
I probably have had to at one point in college experience burnout from whether it was school or like recruiting, specifically as in looking for internships or jobs. Probably I have, but looking back at it, the biggest moment of burnout for me was when I was in our business org and I was picking up positions after positions after positions and putting all my energy and eggs into one basket. And like my third year, I just burnt out. Like I could not pick up any more positions. I couldn't hold a social conversation for the life of me. And I just needed a break. That was probably my peak burnout.
To backtrack a little bit, can you guys talk about a little bit like what is burnout to you?
I feel like it's hard to really define it because it looks different for everybody. But I'm like the type where I can't do anything. I'm basically in a rut, if I want to narrow it to a term. It's like I won't do any projects. I won't take on any more tasks. I barely can even like get out of bed type of thing. And like I'm just done with life.
Okay, do you guys think burnout is referring to like an extended period of time, or is a day or two that you're feeling that way and you consider as burnout?
No, I think burnout to me is an extended period of time of feeling exhausted, pretty much. Having no motivation to put energy into it because you've been doing it for so long. Doing something consistently and maybe not enjoying it as much, or just exceeding the amount, like overfilling your cup pretty much, then that's when you burn out.
See, the reason why I ask it is because there was a period of time where I thought I was burnt out from work, but in retrospect, I feel like I was just very tired, or there's something more that I could be doing, or there's something else that I want to try. And I hate having the feeling of being trapped. That's why I want to ask you guys, like, what is burnout to you guys? Like, how long would you guys consider it? Just because I don't think I have a clear definition for myself.
Burnout is so common in the design world, especially like art and design, that type of world, because you always need to have inspiration and motivation in order to do the work that you do. And so something I read about a lot about is like when you start feeling imposter syndrome, or like not your best work, or you don't think you're good enough for anything, it could be a potential burnout because you're not putting your best foot forward for anything that you do. Especially if people come back and give you feedback and you're like, oh, I think you could do better than this. It might not necessarily be a you're not good enough, but it's a you're burnt out and tired and you need a break because you're not putting your best foot forward anymore.
I feel like creative burnouts is a lot more common because, like you said, you get you finish your work by inspiration, and sometimes that just does not come.
I feel like that's why for maybe Jam and I, since we work corporate, like distinguish whether you're burnt out or you just know that your soul is set on fire through something else, not work, pretty much. I'm being serious. That's why I don't think I'm burnt out either. I just feel the drive to want to put my energy into something that's more rewarding than just stable money. On that note, what if you feel burnout because you don't enjoy what it is that you're doing, but it's not like something else is motivating you either? Because I'm sure some people may be able to relate to that. Like, had we not started this podcast, or had we not piqued interest in content, maybe Jam and or I could have been experiencing that through work, you know?
I am so grateful that we started this podcast because it is truly the best distraction passion project that I've ever worked on. But sometimes I do think, oh, what if it didn't happen? Like, how much more miserable would I be? If I was in that situation, I would definitely try to look for alternatives. Like, what can I do to make myself happier? What can I do to get myself out of this rut? Reading is always a really good place to start because instead of just being in your own thought bubble, you are opening up that circle and having someone else, with their opinions, and that could open your mind up. Just like how I mentioned earlier with the book, The Slight Edge.
I used to think this way. You have to find the one thing that you're passionate about and you have to devote your entire life or your career out of it. And that is so not true because a passion should be something that you ideally don't burn out from. Like that is kind of like your anchor. And whether that's like gardening or reading or whatever, like if you have a job and you enjoy creating, like, I don't know, make your own Etsy shop and like sell things on it. And that could be like your stress reliever. If you don't want to devote your entire life to it, that's fine as long as it makes you happy. I think that's really important to figure out.
Maybe it's the more progressive side of me, but I'm just like, you don't always have to capitalize on your passion projects. Like you can stay at your full-time job that like doesn't make you 100% happy and do something on the side that makes you happy but doesn't make you a lot of money.
For whatever passion project it is, you can do something with it. For example, if you enjoy dancing, maybe you don't want to be a professional dancer, but you have outlets like TikTok, Instagram, or wherever where you could post it just for you to reflect on. And if it happens to be seen by other people, then sure, why not? Stuff like that.
Ultimately, just do things. Don't knock things till you try it. For those who don't know, in college, I studied specifically web design, which is how to make websites and stuff. But then when it came to looking for jobs and all these things, I could barely scrape by getting my portfolio together because mainly I didn't really want to. But then when we started this podcast, I was like the graphics person. And that's totally different from web design. Graphics has more freedom and you can do more creative things. And then immediately after our podcast, I started applying to things that were graphic design because I had experience. Things just happened and I got an internship after that because I actually liked doing this. And it was because I just stepped out of my comfort zone and did something else that I didn't study for.
I don't know how the conversation of burnout turned to this, but how that was motivation for you.
But burnout's common. I feel like everyone has been through burnouts. So if you're going through one and you're in a rut, it's okay.
I saw a post. I guess it may help with like if you're feeling burnt out. This is more on like mental health, but advice I got from my therapist today. If your mental health is starting to affect your physical health, treat yourself like you're sick. Minimum of 24 hours to yourself. Nap as much as you can. Drink plenty of liquids. Catch up on movies you've wanted to watch. The world can wait. You're not going to get out of burnout if you just continue to like, oh, I'll get over it. Get over it. Just put more energy into it.
I'm just so glad that work from home is so much more acceptable now and that people realize that work from home is just as efficient, if not even more efficient than working in the office. I think that's the best thing that came out of COVID, next to our podcast.
Factual information here only. Damn, it feels great to not be in college anymore. I really think our frontal lobes are developing here.
It's the lack of sleep we got in college. Well, maybe not Sharon, because Sharon fully got. Really?
Yeah, I got so much sleep in college. Okay, I don't know if Jam, you experienced a lot of burnout in college, but I was going to say, I think Vicky took the quote-unquote best route to how to do college, as in I was like, oh, I need to beat everybody because I'm from a small town. I need to play catch up. I need an internship my first year summer. I need to figure out exactly what I want to do like within my first year. And I was like, I always need to be recruiting. I always need to be doing this. And then I feel like I quote unquote burnt out by like my second year, versus I feel like Vicky, maybe you didn't intentionally do it, but you know how you said you didn't declare your major until like a year and a half later and you slowly figured that out. And then when you did figure that out in third year, you like put all your energy into it and you wrote it out till the end of college. So don't burn yourself out too early. But yeah, work hard. You know what I'm saying? You need to have a balance. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah. Quick comment, you know why I don't think I burnt out in college? Because I always had the mentality was, what's the least I can do to get the most out of it?
Yeah.
I swear the laziest people are the smartest people.
She just called her lazy. Jam's like, I didn't call myself lazy.
She literally said, what is the least I can do?
But I'm not lazy. I just work smart.
Like you don't want to
That's
do
funny.
too much.
No, it's not called I don't want to do too much. It's just God know what you should do to get the most out of it. Like
I don't know who's digging a deeper hole, me or Jam.
I think I am not No, I am not lazy. I just
Yeah, I
work
wouldn't say
smart.
lazy. It's like if you want to get the same result by putting 5 versus 10 hours in, everyone will do the 5 hours. It's that. I got you, Jam. I
Thanks.
got you.
Yeah. Bitch, I am not lazy.
I was gonna say something and I totally lost it because we were in the midst of an argument.
Because Vicky called me lazy.
Yeah, Vicky out here calls people a lot of things. Actually, it most likely happens to Jam.
We went so off topic.
Dude, we really did. But I feel like the pieces in there are pretty gold.
This might be the best advice we've given.
I don't know about that. Maybe when we stitch it together, we'll see.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
pretty good for us. I feel more energized now.
Nice.
Yeah, me too. Last question is any helpful quotes, books, or resources for motivation and or burnout?
Honestly, if you have a super short attention span, do TikTok. Get on like psychology TikTok or book TikTok, educational TikTok. So many people narrow down information into like 30 seconds and there's still like golden advice. And I learn a lot from TikTok. It's a good starting point if you need a direction.
I'll give 2.5 book recs and a podcast rec. Slight Edge that Jam mentioned, probably one of my favorite books that I've read. I so happen to have these two by me because I went to grab them. This one is called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's like this same concept of like you're compounding little habits here and there and they'll eventually snowball into one big snowball that surpasses everybody else, basically. That's a terrible description. And the second one is called You Are a Badass at Making Money. And I picked this one up because I heard a good rec on it, but if any friends know me, it's that I'm a saver, like borderline stingy, because I need to save all my money. I don't want to waste my money on things, but that got me to like not experiencing like traveling or not doing things because I needed to save money. And essentially this book kind of tells you like you have money to spend it and it'll essentially find its way back to you if you give your energy to the universe kind of thing. That was also a terrible description. Just read it. And then the podcast recommendation is a woman named Georgie Stevenson, but her podcast is called Rise and Conquer. She talks about like business, she talks about fitness, and she's very, very, very inspirational and motivational. And her guests are as well.
So the book that I highly recommend is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson because that really changed my perspective on a lot of things basically my entire life. Podcast wise, there's 3 that I want to share that I really like. The first one is called What You Will Learn, and basically it's these 2 hosts that reads a bunch of books and they talk about it on their podcast, and mostly these books are like personal development or just ways that could help you in life. They're a really good way to start, getting into books if you're not fully into reading but you want to learn about certain books. The second podcast is called Earned. They invite a lot of, executives from different companies in the beauty industry or fashion industry, such as like Rare Beauty, Josie Moran, Summer Fridays. And I just love hearing about how they arrive at where they are today. And the very last one is How I Built This with Guy Raz. It always makes me feel good after listening to them. And I want to push myself to, achieve my own success.
There's another one. They have a series, but it was like Optimal Anything Daily. So they have Optimal Living Daily, Optimal Finance Daily, where they just like talk about the best way to do those certain topics and they kind of give you advice, basically. Those are podcasts that I listen to.
Well, that was our conversation on motivation, discipline, burnout. Again, because it's us 3, it goes 10 different directions, but I hope you got something good out of it. And until next time,
Adios!
bye!